Hi, Alan Soquel. I'm going to be reviewing this Conical Burr grinder. It came in about a week or so ago, and me being a past member of the Specialty Coffee Association, I've got a pretty deep understanding of brewing processes of coffee. But I will tell you that my opinion of this grinder is not based on putting it up against grinders that are not within its category. I simply want to explain what is available in coffee grinders after introducing this particular grinder here. First of all, Conical Burr grinders. Conical Burr is sort of a key word, a key name, and many times for people that are getting into coffee, you're told that you must use a Conical Burr grinder. So the bottom line is there are many quality levels in Conical Burr grinders. A good example is this grinder here, which is an Italian grinder. It was one of the first grinders I purchased 15 years ago, going on 20 years ago, and it was the most inexpensive true espresso grade grinders available, and at that time it was $200. The Conical Burr grinder that I'm reviewing, and this one is from Ollygrin, they're showing a price of $90, $89.99, but we're rounding it up by a penny. So a $90 grinder, years ago $200, and now looking at this grinder and looking at this grinder, at first glance you would think they're very similar. Well, in fact, they're quite dissimilar in that this Conical Burr configuration is one of the more inexpensive configurations. And typically, when you talk about Conical Burr grinders, you really have to start talking about their quality. It starts with how large they are in diameter. Typically, a small unit like this is about a 40 millimeter, and the machining of the burrs, or the striations, the lines on the rotating and the stationary part of the grinding mechanism, there are more of them, and there is a greater ability to get a fine a differential between your coarse ground coffee for drip, typical American drip, versus espresso. Espresso grind coffees are very fine. This machine, I'll tell you right now, is not designed for that. At best, it's designed for what we call coarse ground coffee, drip, maybe pour over. But even within that category, grinders of this ilk are usually not really true grinding uniform size grounds. They're shattered. The grounds tend to be shattered. And I already ran some coffee. Okay, what I have here, and let me see if I can focus in. I ground the coarse level in this machine right here. The coarsest coffee I could grind right here. That's on the left is the coarsest ground coffee, and on the right I went to the finest I could grind. And trust me when I tell you, I can feel how gritty it is. That is not suitable for proper espresso. I could try brewing using this grind, but it would do a disservice to the coffee. So when you're shopping for a coffee grinder, typically the first thing that a person who doesn't know much about coffee, they will consider a blade grinder. This is a blade grinder. There's a rotating blade down here. And all I can tell you is this is basically taking a sledgehammer to a good coffee bean and just beating the heck out of it. These are best for possibly if you're going to rough grind peppercorns or, spices. But I'm sure a spice person would even complain about the irregularity of the grind affecting the quality of their product. So we then come to the inexpensive Conical Burr grinder, and the question everybody asks me in the family and friends, should I get one of these because it is Conical Burr? And my answer is, you can probably find something like this. This particular one at $90, I might add, by Ollygrin. All of the features here, I just referenced one of my suppliers, and I was looking at Conical Burr grinders. Their most inexpensive is actually $85. It's offered by a brand that we all know here in the U.S. It's a German name, and they not only offer free shipping, but they also offer, included with this $85 Burr grinder, which is very similar to this, they're offering a 3-year warranty. So I guess what I'm telling you is that the economy at this end, if you simply want to grind up roasted coffee to get a better result than buying coffee in a can pre-ground, certainly this is a step up, but you're going to be under $100. But I will tell you that right now an espresso grade low-end Conical Burr unit through some of the coffee suppliers and possibly Amazon, you can find these for a little under $200. So introductory decent Burr grinders, not the best for espresso, but you can sort of get by, a little under $200. So if you're just not interested in doing espresso, which is going to take you into a whole different brewing process, but getting back to grinding, grinders are the most important part of the brewing process. I'm typically using this particular machine. This is currently, when I got it, it was a little under $800. Now they're probably closer to $1,100. But this is a typical commercial grinder. This is relatively quiet, is what I was going to tell you. In fact, it's exceedingly quiet. When it's grinding, a little more, but nothing close to these two machines. These are rather noisy. This machine, it isn't bad because here's the Italian version. Very similar. A much better motor assembly. You're getting a lot more. When you get into the $200 range, you now have better motors. Typically, you have a collection area for your coffee where you can then, and this one used to be spring-loaded, but as you might see a barista doing, and of course on my machine here, when you're filling the portafilter, you have an area here where you've collected your ground coffee. In this particular machine, it's a bit more home user. You've got a container, and you basically scoop from this, etc. But again, as I told you, this machine is for people that want to grind an American, typical drip or pour over, but let's say drip. The features on the machine, yes, it's got some detents. They say when they show 30 detents here between finest and the most coarse. But what I'm telling you is Even at $90, there is competition for this machine. So I looked at this, I checked out the features. Yes, it has a timer, a rough timer here, depending on how much you want in the way of grind. My suggestion to you, in my world, when I'm doing espresso, I do what's called a double shot. That equates to 18 grams of coffee beans. So I use a little shot glass. I scoop up an even shot glass, and that usually comes out to about 18 grams. That's all I put into the hopper. And so my summary opinion is this. This is a $90, very inexpensive Burr grinder. I don't recommend these, and even within its category, I'm telling you that there are other machines out there that have 3-year warranties. This one does offer an extended warranty. Its 3-year warranty is an additional $11, a 4 years an additional $15. I think it's nice that they offer that, but again, there are some competitive brands out there that have been around for many, many years, and they offer this type of higher end, inexpensive, residential conical burr grinders. So that's why it's not getting a 4 or 5 star, because I think if the price were lower, I might give it 4 stars. But if people are asking me about quality results, I think the vendor page went a little overboard in exalting the quality of the ground. I've done this for enough years. I've got some chunks of coffee in here on the rough grind that are literally parts of the bean that have shattered. So this is shattered coffee. It's not ground. It's shattered, and it's just it's not a good sight. And again, on the finer grind, it's sort of sandy. I wouldn't mix the grinds, but I would find a mid-range in here for my drip coffee to get the maximum transfer of essential oils, the flavor and such, from the ground beans into my carafe. I'm going to give it 3 stars. I'm not saying it's a bad machine. I'm saying that one should look at the entire marketplace for machines like this, under $100 but greater than, say, $80, between the $80 and $100 mark.
Okay, so this is my Ollygrin coffee grinder, and I really like it a lot. You can move this to see how coarse you want your coffee grounds. I'm gonna make a drip coffee, so I'm gonna make it between medium and fine. I measure out my coffee grounds, and I usually put just a drop of water in there. That's probably too much. Just a little bit, and then I mix them up. I do this so I won't have any static in my coffee grounds. And it works perfect. So you pour them in. Dropped it right there. And you put it to how many cups you want. I'm going to put 4 just so I can make sure I get all the grounds taken in. And this I like. You can take this out and it won't start. So you don't have coffee all over the place. Put it back in. And then you've got coffee grounds. I like how fine they are here. There's no static, and it's ready to brew your coffee.
So here's the knob where you can adjust how much coffee you want to grind. Here's the hopper where you keep the beans. You can adjust the fineness or coarseness of your grind. It goes all the way over to very fine there and very coarse. I am gonna do a medium coarse grind because I'm gonna make cold brew. So let's fire it. Okay, now just pull that hopper out. You can take a look. I would say this is pretty dang coarse. I'm not sure I would call that medium, but I think it will be great for cold brew. I think it's somewhat irregular. I'm not sure this is as regular as I might expect from a Conical Burr grinder, but it's I think good enough for government work. But it certainly seems to have the ease of use down, and I'm gonna give it a try for the next couple weeks, and I'll update my review if I have anything new to add. Hope this helps.
This is my Conical Burr grinder that I just received, and I want to show off because I absolutely love it. I used to have the little grinders that just made a mess everywhere, and so I quit grinding coffee. So here I filled the hopper full of the beans, and then I can set it to how many cups I need. I'm just gonna do it on 2 because I'm not making coffee right now. And the beans going down. That was for 2 cups. There was a little left in there. You just take off the lid and beans. This is you adjust this to medium, coarse, fine. It will do really fine too. So it just has no trouble, whatever setting you want. It's amazing and not messy. And I couldn't be happier with my new find.
So I thought I'd give a quick demonstration of how this works. Now you can turn this all the way from coarse to fine, and you turn it. I can't do it with one hand, so you'll just have to take my word for it. I've got it set right here between medium and fine. And then you go here, you pick how many cups you want. You can go all the way from 2 to 12. For the demo, I'll do 4. And then you just push a button. It's a little loud. And it's all done. And it slides right out. And you take this off, and you have coffee.